YouTube, what is going on? It is your boy James with Make an Opening, and today we are covering my favorite deck that I've been playing for probably the last month now. I started playing Vader because I just wanted to mix it up. I thought it was interesting, the idea of chasing the showcase at big events. And originally I was just playing Vader ECO, but I realized Vader ECO is probably not the best way to go. 25 health is a pretty big downside. And ECL did give me a lot of really cool tricks in the tool belt to deal with leaders the turn they come out, which is really fun and really exciting. But the lack of HP against the most popular decks right now, Quinlan and Sabine, you really feel it because they're coming at your HP and they're coming at it quick and fast. So I've recently made the switch to Data Vault. I've been enjoying it, and after my latest iteration, I think I'm at a point where I'm really excited about this deck. I want to share it with you guys, so let's get into it. Apologies for no face cam, and also I don't really know how good the audio sounds as I'm recording this. I just moved, and I'm still not fully set up. I'm looking into getting a new desk and everything for the spot, but for now this is gonna do, and I haven't uploaded in 3 weeks now, so I know you guys need some more hot deck techs, and I've been missing making videos for you guys. So let's go over my latest creation, Darth Vader Data Vault, aka Vader's Vacation. What a beautiful planet Scarif is, right? Before everything went down, it's a very beautiful planet. And this is the deck that we're working with right now. Now, obviously, screenshot it, share with your friends, do whatever you want to do with this before we dive into it. We got a full 60 card deck due to Data Vault, giving us that extra 3 HP. We have a sideboard chocked full of great sauce, 10 cards in there as well. That's how you know I've been really working on this deck, because I usually don't do sideboards in my videos. But before we get into every individual card, let's kind of go over the broader strokes of the deck. So really, the deck identity when you're playing Vader is to ramp and drop bombs. Bombs being Vader unit himself. We got Devastator, Reinforcement Walker, Relentless, the other Devastator, the new Devastator. The list goes on, just anything that costs 6 or more that has a really big impact on the game. That's what you're ramping into. It's green villain, and typically green villain likes ramping. Green red villain is cooler than green blue villain. Changed my mind. Actually, I like Kira. I think Kira's pretty fun, but Vader for the win. We don't like blue. Blue's cringe. Anyway, that's the identity of the deck. Ramping out and dropping some big old bombs. So let's go over the ramp. So we have a lot of ramp options in the game right now, and we're using all of them. Not 3 of all of them. We have 3 of the Super Laser Technicians. We're running 3 resupplies and 3 resupply carriers. Price on Your Head is new, thanks to a video released by George Hudson, George the Hulk, who recently piloted a Vader Data Vault list as well, and he did pretty good. The reasoning behind Price on Your Head is, with the increased deck size, 6 cards, it's not as consistent as 11, basically. Or 9 cards isn't as consistent as 11. You're looking at 9 out of 60 cards versus 11 out of 60. Price on Your Head also is another early game ramp card that you want to get, because really you're targeting doing an early game Super Laser Technician, resupply, or Price on Your Head. That way by turn 4 on the 5 resource turn, you have 6, and then the main play line then on would be to drop resupply carrier into deploying Vader on the 4th turn, which is the 5 resource turn, making them come out as fast as everybody else, which is really cool. That is one of the key benefits of playing Vader ramp, because otherwise he's just a big looming threat that isn't coming out fast enough to make any sort of impact. So you really want to ramp him out, and Price on Your Head adds that a little extra bit of consistency that I've really been enjoying. So shout out George the Hulk. Also, another part of this deck was loosely inspired by him, though I was already on it. So hey, great minds think alike, but I just kind of added more to it. My decks are usually I try to fit a whole bunch of different stuff into one deck and then make it work. And then as I'm playing it, I adjust it and cut it down to just a few key components, and just looking at better players and seeing what they do typically helps a lot with that as well. I get pretty scatterbrained because I want one deck to do everything possible. But other than the ramp package, we have the draw package, and this is also considered the first order package. Really, it's all these cards are mainly here due to this guy right here, General Hux. No terms, no surrender. It's a 2 resource, 1/4 first order. Vader has no real ties to the first order, but who cares? We're running first order cards, and each other friendly first order unit gains raid 1, so it's a good way to pump extra damage into the enemy's base. But the creme de la creme is his action. If you played a first order card this phase, draw a card. We have 12 cards in here other than Hux. Hux makes 15, but outside of Hux, 12 cards that will allow us to activate Hux's second ability here and draw a card. Card draw is really big, especially whenever one of the most prominent decks in the metagame right now is Quinlan, who is actively ripping your hand to shreds. Card draw is super useful. And also, it makes First Order Stormtrooper have 3 attack with, 1 indirect damage. First Order TIE Fighter is 3 attack. Kylo swings for 4, and then TIE Dagger swings for 3 as well. Outside of payoffs for Hux, they don't really do too much for you. The 1 indirect is nice. You're never going to have a token unit, so this never really matters. TIE Dagger Vanguard is probably the most useful because you can ping stuff with Vader, obviously, and you can do an extra 2 damage to a damaged unit by throwing out TIE Dagger Vanguard. And then Kai's Tyler Silencer, obviously, it's just a really aggressively statted card. It's a 3/2 for 2, and then if it was discarded from your hand or deck, you can play it from the discard pile. So if Quinlan ends up hitting it via like a random discard, you just play it out for free, which helps with mitigating the downside of playing against Quinlan. Hux himself is never a turn 1 play. You typically want to have a different turn 1 play than drop Hux outside of turn 1. That way you can buff your first order units, not TIE Dagger Vanguard, because obviously this guy doesn't come out turn 1, but playing Kylo's TIE Silencer turn 1, dropping Hux and swinging for 4 can be pretty good. Obviously it's kind of Christmas land where it's not like the best line of play, obviously, but if it's your only line of play, it's not always going to work either. Hux is really good post turn 1, where you can drop Hux plus other first order units in the turns that follow. It's if you have to play him turn 1, you have to, right? But also the main focus in your early game is ramping, which is something to keep in mind as well. Next up, other important cards. These cards, super important. They don't fit in any specific package. I guess Prepare for Takeoff does. So in this deck currently, we're running 26 vehicles, 27 vehicles if you swap out Crate Dragon for another Reinforcement Walker, which is what I would do if I owned another Reinforcement Walker. I don't really know what it is. It's probably lost in one of my Twin Sons decks at the moment, but Crate Dragon's cool, so I have that in there instead. So 26 vehicles, 26 out of 60. You're looking at a pretty big majority of your deck being vehicles. So you get to search the top 8 for up to 2 vehicles, reveal them and draw them. Really good on turn 1, especially if out of the top 8 cards you find a resupply carrier. That's always good because you're trying to ramp anyway. Force Choke is good because Sabine is the currently most played leader in the game. So Force Choke obviously is good. And then Timely Intervention, I don't know if it's like super like staple in Vader Data Vault right now, but after playing Vader ECL for as long as I was, I love ECL. I love Vader ECL. I love the dopamine you get from ECLing out something when you're playing Vader. It's super cool. So this, you can play it from your hand for 1. Most of the time you're smuggling it out for 2 instead. So any of your units that you think, I could smuggle this out with ambush, take its cost plus 2. Just because it's easy to resource, and you always have it as a backup card for later. So outside of that, let's go back to the deck itself. Some other really important cards. We're running a couple copies of Salvage. Since this deck is more vehicle based, I've switched away from Palpatine's Return in favor for Salvage. So you get to play a vehicle from your discard pile and then deal the damage to it. Piet, I love playing Piet in Vader. It's probably a card that could be cut if you want to make it more consistent, and it would probably end up being one of the cards I sideboard out in different matchups. But each friendly not leader unit that costs 6 or more gains ambush. So basically from here on, all these cards can have ambush. Your Vader unit's already ambushing, but your Crate Dragon can ambush. Your Reinforcement Walker could ambush, so you get his ability twice. Your Blizzard Assault AT-AT could ambush to defeat 2 units instead of 1, like a souped up Darth Maul card. Bunch of different options for Admiral Piet. And it's like a pet card, honestly. I love playing Admiral Piet. It's super fun. And then Pirate Battle Tank. This card is really good. It's a vehicle, so you can search it with Prepare for Takeoff. You can get it back out with Salvage. It's a super solid Sentinel. It's a 4/6 for 6 Sentinel. And it has Smuggle. The Smuggle cost is 7. I know it's pretty small, but you can smuggle it out for 7. So resource it when you don't need it. When the time's right, flip it out. If it gets defeated and you need more Sentinel, salvage it out. Super useful, super clutch. Let's go over Blizzard Assault AT-AT. So when it attacks and defeats a unit, I can deal the excess damage from the attack to the enemy, to another enemy ground unit, basically. So it's a 9/9. You give it ambush and you defeat something with 6 HP, right? It has to attack and defeat. It doesn't have to complete the attack, so it could trade into something that also has 9 power and deal the excess damage. It still works that way. So if you attack into something with 6 HP, you defeat it. The 3 overwhelm isn't technically overwhelm. It gets assigned to another enemy ground unit. So you could easily go 2 for 1. I do that with Blizzard Assault AT-AT pretty often. It's a card that I don't really see in other Vader decks. Maybe it's not super good, but to me, it is very good to me. She is very beautiful to me. One Relentless for those control matchups. We have another one in the board right here. Crate Dragon. Really fun. It's a 10/10 overwhelm. Pairing it up with Piet or Timely Intervention to give it ambush. Super sick. It's a game ender. I only have it in right now because I'm missing a Reinforcement Walker, but honestly, it may just stay in the deck. It's super cool. Let's go over some of my sideboard pieces. So I have played this deck in person a good bit, a lot more so online. One of my tougher matchups is Han because of the Millennium Falcon, so that's what the Eager Escort Fighter is in here for. It's another vehicle. It's a 4/1 ambush, so you just delete Millennium Falcons with this guy. Super useful. A 5 resource 4/5 Sentinel to get out pretty early. If you ramp, you can get this out on the turn Sabine pops out, which is always nice to have a Sentinel blocker in the way. I see people running B2 Legionnaires. Instead of a 4/5 Sentinel, they're 5/4 with Sentinel and Overwhelm. But I'm going with this because it has a slightly larger behind, and also it's a vehicle, so you can search it out with Prepare for Takeoff. Really useful. Traitorous is really good into decks where you see them trying to utilize the tower methodology, where they're buffing up one key unit, putting pilots on it, stuff like that. You can just yoink it from it with Traitorous. It's always a fun time. Turbo Laser Salvo to choose one of your big space units and completely nuke either side of the board. Got one of those in there just in case. And then again, the other Relentless. A key card in the deck that's just not here anywhere is going to be Overwhelming Barrage. I personally don't run it because putting all the pieces together, all the different, like ideas and synergies and, different groupings of cards, I didn't really see anywhere to fit Overwhelming Barrage in. I could see it being like a 1 or a 2 of in the sideboard eventually, but I still think it is one of the best cards in the game. But when our early game methodology is ramp, and then our late game methodology is bomb, go crazy, it's kind of hard to find a window where you can spend 5 resources to buff a unit, albeit you can use that unit to deal some serious damage on the opponent's side of the board, but then they can just interact with the unit you buffed before you can use it to get any meaningful damage off onto the opponent's base. Also, when you look at the deck, I mean, you can OB off of some larger units. Of course, they're going to do some work. You know, hitting an OB off of Vader for 7, off a Devastator for 11, you know, it's really useful, right? But off of these smaller units, which honestly make up the majority of the deck, you know, OB for 5 off of this one, OB for 4, OB for 5, like, it's pretty lackluster. OB for 6 even on some of them. I don't know, man. Currently, it's not in the list. It could change, but this is what I'm rocking with now. And again, this has been Vader's Vacation. Let me know what you guys think of the deck list downstairs in the comment section. Of course, downstairs in the description, you'll find the deck link. Let me know, you know, what you think. If you've been playing Vader, have you been liking it? What sort of deck are you going for? Are you just going for a standard green 30, Vault, ECL? You know, let me know. And it's glad to be back making videos for you guys. Love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.